Meanwhile, in the United States, a judge has blocked a government freeze on federal loans, grants and other assistance. The pause was due to come into effect on Tuesday and would have put trillions of dollars on hold. The freeze was challenged by a group of non-governmental organisations, and some Democrat-run states are also planning legal action. The White House said the pause was intended to bring spending into line with President Trump's anti-woke executive orders, but direct payments to individuals like Social Security benefits would continue.
So what does this pause mean? It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for the Green New scam that has cost American taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. No more funding for Green New Deal social engineering policies. Again, people who are receiving individual assistance, you will continue to receive that. And President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
Well, that's what the White House has to say about it. Let's now speak to expert on US and UK security, Professor of International Politics at Birmingham University, David Dunn. David, welcome. It's all happening at breakneck speed, isn't it, in terms of the appointments and also these rolling out of executive orders. Where are we in the Trump agenda?
What we are is him absolutely trying to both set the pace of the policy agenda, but also exerting his authority as just the first among equals in the government of America, but actually the person who dictates every aspect. So this executive order yesterday to actually try and freeze funding was an attempt to actually show that he was in charge rather than actually Congress. Congress has passed all these laws over the years that funds this $1 trillion of worth of public programs, 260 different federal ways of spending money on different aspects of provision for the American people. And what he was saying is, I have the authority to stop that. And he tried that, and of course he was challenging the courts. But it's performative politics. This is a thing that plays well for his base, and also actually is a way of trying to get his tax cuts funded, because what Trump wants to do is to actually fund $4 trillion worth of tax cuts, and he needs to find a way of doing that, and part of that is by cutting these programs across schools, hospitals, non-profits, forestry projects, water projects and the like.
But from his perspective, it appears that Congress and the Senate, and for that matter judges, have significant power to throw a spanner in the works.
Yeah, this is what he's about. So the executive orders are instructions to the different departments of state in America to do things. But he can't contradict American laws, but he's trying to do that. But what it requires is for people to take lawsuits saying your executive orders are illegal and therefore I challenge you. So it's a question of a power contest in Washington as to who has the ability to direct the government to do things, and Trump is pushing his luck really by actually trying to extend the role of the presidency into these areas and saying I have the authority to stop these projects because I'm in charge of the executive branch, and Congress and the states have to come back and say no you haven't, we will challenge you in the courts. So we can expect much more of this to and fro, much more conflict over the way in which America is governed and who ultimately has responsibility for all these federal programs.
But in terms of inside the administration, would you say that it is looking, as expected, much more cohesive than last time around?
Well, certainly Trump has been much more prepared than last time round. If you go back 8 years ago, he was still floundering to find people. This time he's actually been much more prepared. Things like Project 2025 have lined up the policy issue agendas, and he's lined up the people he wants to get through Congress. And he has so far got his controversial picks through the Senate. People like Pete Hegseth, the new chief of the Pentagon, someone who lacks experience and is a very controversial character, has been approved. And this week we'll see RFK Jr. come up for confirmation by the Senate, and he has put a huge amount of pressure on senators to approve his picks and threatened them with being primaried with Elon Musk's money if they refuse to support his agenda. So he's showing his total control of the Republican Party, his ability to get things through Congress, and his ability to actually move forward on a whole variety of policy initiatives with a whole bunch of radical disruptors as his cabinet picks in order to achieve those goals.
Thank you very much indeed.